Well, good morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion returning to you from Mexico. How are you all today? Great. Glad to hear it. I'm having a great day too. Well, we're rejoining yesterday, and now I want to go down, surprisingly, I'm going to go to an old granary. But this granary has a very important story to this city and Mexico's independence from Spain. So when we get down there, I'm going to tell you the story, show you the building, tell you what it is now. Well, let's take a good look at the city from up here, because we won't get to see it forever. I love it. I love all the color. I think it just, especially at night, when everybody turns their lights on inside their house, and it just looks great. So the first part of our story for today is basically that in 1810, a man named Father Hidalgo in a town outside of here called Dolores was tired of how the oppressed people had been treated and that they were just tired of being poor. So he started raising a military, an army, and sent a letter to Guanajuato that they were coming to basically siege them. And sent them the letter, they completely ignored it, and on came the army. So this battle would go on to be known as the Siege of Dinga. So as Father Hidalgo and the army marched here, basically the only form of defense that Guanajuato decided to take was most of their royalists went to the granary, which is where we're going now, and that's where they decided to defend it. They figured it was such high walls and so secure that nobody would ever be able to take them there. I know we saw this yesterday, but that's just such a great view. Can't pass it, not look at it again. So let's follow that to the Centro Histórico. Well, if we're seeing a Hotel Dolores, we know we're in the right spot. We're close. Remember I told you guys the other day about people having dogs on their roof as protection? Right up there. Well, there's the granary. Let's go to the front and I'll start telling you the story. Well, here it is. There's even a sign commemorating it over there we'll go take a look at. But this is where the very first battle for Mexico's independence happened. At the time, like I mentioned before, this area was called New Spain, and so Spain ran it. So when they showed up here, the royalists were defending with guns, and nobody could get close to this granary. And you can tell just by looking at how secure it really was. So what ended up happening was a man they called El Pipillo strapped a rock on his back, started inching his way towards the building with tar. He was deflecting the bullets with that rock, got up to the doorway, smeared the tar on with his hands, and then lit it on fire. And that was able to get him in and all the insurgents in. They took over Guanajuato, and this was the very first city to deflect from New Spain in Mexico's history. Now at the top of the hill I showed you the other day, there's a big statue up there. So we'll go take a look at that on the funicular in a little while. Now this is a cultural history museum, and right up there it says Hidalgo, in honor of Father Hidalgo, who helped make it all possible. And there you go. September 28th, 1810. I mean, this is incredibly historic. I don't know if you guys are taking in how important this was, but we're talking, this is their independence, forming their new country. Wow. Just one more reason we had to come here. Come and visit this city. Now there's the proper entrance now. The other side was where they sieged and where they have commemorated it. And this side you can see there's a little plaque that says Museo Regional de Guanajuato, Alhóndiga de Granaditas. So it appears that this would be a statue to the man, Don Miguel Hidalgo. Well, I just stumbled upon this. Do you guys know what that is? That's a Mexico wax museum. I think we should go take a look. Has some important historical figures As well as when I just walked up to the front, I saw Shrek, so they must have some well-known cartoon and whatever else characters. Let's go take a look. Well, right away I noticed Pancho Villa.
Él nace el 8 de mayo de 1753 en la ciudad de Corralejo, Pénjamo, aquí en Guanajuato. Da inicio a la independencia levantándose en armas.
Now right over here is Father Hidalgo, who I told you about, with that rock on his back. And then you'll notice the stick with the tar in his hand over here. And a beheaded Hidalgo. Well, I recognize these two. We saw his home the other day, Diego Rivera, famous artist, painter. And then his love, Miss Frida Kahlo. And that guy is just creeping people out by looking out the window.
Aquí tenemos a dos grandes pinturas muy reconocidas. Actualmente su casa hoy es un museo, hoy se llama Casa Diego Rivera.
And here, this is to the Mummies. Wax figure of the Mummies. Apparently he was worked at the grains. You can see that on his shirt. Oh, here are the religious figures. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. I don't know her story, but I do know Gandhi. God, it looks just like him, doesn't it? Wow. Then, of course, Jesus Cristo. Jesus. And then over here, Juan Pablo II. John Paul. Who's, if you're more interested in him, we actually went to his grave back in March. Go look up my videos in March when we went to Italy. So far, a pretty good wax museum. Ah, Don Quixote of La Mancha. There's his horse. And Sancho Panza, his little sidekick. Now I'm not familiar with these. They're known as La Asturianatina. And then these are the two that are, their story is told in the Alley of the Kiss. They would have kissed in that balcony. Their father would have caught her, threatened her, and the next day while they were kissing on the step, she was stabbed by him. Hence the red step. And then of course Dia de los Muertos, Land of the Dead, Coco. I know him from Universal and Shrek. Here you can clearly see that is Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, not the Monkeys. Be cool if they had Davy Jones from the Monkeys. I'm a believer. I have no idea who this is. I'm kidding. Spider-Man, the Luchadors, Bruce Willis, who just got roasted on Comedy Central, and Sean Connery. That looks like a younger Sean Connery. Younger, old Sean Connery. Over here in the House of Horrors, they have the Crypt Keeper and Frankenstein. All right, that was fun. We saw the whole museum. It was only 30 pesos, totally worth it. I was very curious as to what they would have, and I was very curious if I would know anybody in there. But I knew, I would say 7/8. That's a weird fraction. You never hear anybody say that one, but I would guess I knew about 7/8. There's probably 4 people in there I didn't recognize or know their story. And there's the guy I showed you from the inside that I said was just sitting in the windowsill creeping people out. That's actually how I noticed the place. I thought he was just watching people walk by, and then I saw that sign. And it's actually right across the street from this museum. All right, let's head over to the funicular because I want to show you the statue, and we'll take it up now that you've seen him in the wax museum and you know the story of El Pipila. And yes, there's actually a movie about the mummies of Guanajuato.
Hoy te pido con fervor a que libre la nación de mi Japón. La gente sufre mucho por calor. Mi Dios ya retira un poco el sol. Se están muriendo la gente de calor en la nación que se llama mi Japón.
I don't know if you guys noticed that he had Miley Cyrus on his guitar when he lifted his arm up when I walked by the first time. I was like, that is classic. I would have never expected that. We're pretty close. Actually, very, very close, I believe. I just love that statue. There's so much going on there. Look up in the windows. Something cool me off here. I wasn't exactly sure what it was that was Kiss of an Angel, but I looked at their sign. It looked like a juice or ice cream place, so we got it. See, now they put a new Guanajuato sign out. That wasn't out yesterday. And there it is. Well, that's a bummer I don't quite understand. When I went up to buy a ticket, there was a sign in the ticket window that said, closed, come back. Like in Spanish, so I was like, there's a funicular coming down. How do you close the ticket booth if there's one still operating? So I guess we'll have to come back later. Well, for some reason, in case our plan doesn't work out, here's a distant shot of what we're looking to get up to. Okay, we're in business. We got a return trip ticket too. I am scared to death. Alright, nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I reminded myself before I got on, I'm like, you rode the one in Budapest, you've ridden that death trap in Los Angeles, the Angel's Flight that's crashed a couple times. This should be no problem. There's our sign. What's going on down here? I see the Grim Reaper. Oh, I think he's a performer. Like that guy. There's our city. That's where we are, baby. Colorful houses as far as the eye can see. There he is. Isn't that awesome? Now that you guys know the story, that's why I didn't come up here the other day. When I said I was going to, I started thinking about it and I said, you know what? I should go up there when I tell the story of the granary and the independence. So now you know that story, and now you get to see the statue to Pipila. The one photo op I did want to take. Just grabbed myself an horchata up here, and it's the best one I've ever had in my life. Swear to God. Alright gang, let's face it, we're never going to find a better view than this, so let's end the vlog here now. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to anyone who has supported this channel, the Patreons, anybody that buys shirts and things like that, and everyone that just watches every single video. It helps a lot. It helps us come to places like this, get views like that, and get to explore new lands. So have a great night. We'll see you all later. Adios.